Hello, my name is Andrea Samadi. I'm the author of the book Level Up, the founder of Achieveit360.com, where we've been working with students just like you for the past 20 years on success strategies to help give people like you a razor's edge advantage over the rest so you can achieve outstanding results with your academic life, personal life, and sports. Welcome to a quick video on 5 simple ways to use your brain to get better results in school, sports, and life. I promise you that if you listen to these tips, write them down, and then take action on them by implementing them in your daily life, you'll set yourself apart from others and reach higher levels of achievement at school, in life, and sports. If you do implement even a couple of these ideas, you will put yourself on a path that will separate you from the rest. So let's dive right into these 5 strategies. The first strategy is self-awareness. Our routines are formed over time and they're created out of habit. Do you know who you are? When you wake up, are you aware of your values, what's most important for you, the things that you're working on for that day? You can set yourself up for a day of success with some careful planning of being very clear what you want to do for that day, or failure if we leave our lives up to chance. Research shows that if you remain in bed for a few extra seconds in the morning and just check in with yourself and be aware of what your thoughts, your feelings, what's going on today, what are you working on, what obstacles do you think you might have to overcome today? If you put in a little bit of extra planning before you jump out of bed and start your day, you'll be able to set yourself up for success and overcome things that you probably will anticipate might happen. You'll be able to do more with less stress. So if you can set up a morning routine, wake up and just check in with yourself. Think in your head, what have you got to do? What kinds of things do you think you'll have to overcome? You'll be miles ahead of the rest of the pack that will just jump out of bed and let their day dictate what their actions will be. By doing this, you'll develop confidence in yourself and your abilities. This takes time and practice, but when you have it, it's a very valuable quality. If you can be clear on who you are, what things you value in your life the most. For me, I value exercise, healthy eating, and learning, and this helps me to stay on track with my life. Then you can begin to build the pathway to your future that aligns with your values. It will be very clear to you when you're not living in line with your values, and it'll be easy for you to know what steps to take. Should you go this way or that way? Life will not flow right when you're not living in line with your values. To figure out what your values are, think about what was happening in your life when things were going really well. When you're living in line with your values, everything is easy. What types of things were you doing? What was working? Think of a time when things were not going well. What was happening? Think about this. Which character from the TV show Stranger Things is more self-aware? Jonathan or Steven, and why? Think about Jonathan in Stranger Things, if you have seen this show. And how is his life better than Steven's? He was clear about who he was. He had his interest in photography, and his friends could count on him. He never hesitated when his values or beliefs were questioned. He stood strong for who he was and what he believed in. What about Steven? Did he stand strong for his beliefs, or was he still trying to figure himself out? It's okay to be figuring ourselves out, but when we're clear on who we are, this self-awareness can help improve our lives and keep us on track. Knowing who you are can help you stay on track with your life and prevent just going off track and wasting time on things that really don't matter for you. Success tip 2 is, how do you implement a growth mindset? What is growth mindset? Well, Stanford professor Carol Dweck developed a powerful theory of where she thinks ability comes from. She says that for some people, success or failure is based on whether they believe they have a fixed mindset, that they're born with a certain level of intelligence, or a growth mindset, that intelligence can be learned with effort, persistence, and by trying new angles. People who believe in growth mindset know that success is based on learning, persistence, effort, and hard work. I want to encourage you to adopt a growth mindset and learn some simple strategies to help you when you become stuck. Everyone gets stuck. I'm telling you, I've been stuck so many times. But can you keep trying to get yourself unstuck? Think about this. Think about how growth mindset can help you move past a struggle that you might be having with your academics. If you can think, I haven't got it yet, and instead of, this is too hard, think, this may take some time, you'll have a better chance to solving the problem. Remember, your brain wants to keep you safe and efficient, so doing anything that requires effort will be difficult, but the payout will be huge. How could you apply this to sports or in your personal life? Can you remember when you couldn't ride a bike or you couldn't rollerblade? How did you learn these new skills? It was with practice, effort, and persistence, and trying again. If you can use growth mindset with the problems you face in your life, you will set yourself apart from the rest. Most people will give up at the first sign of difficulty. Once growth mindset becomes a habit, you'll learn how to overcome the challenges that once kept you stuck and frustrated. Success tip number 3 is self-regulation. To be able to postpone an immediate pleasure, like going out with your friends, to study instead. This strengthens the parts of your brain that give you more control over your life. Researchers concluded that if you want to be successful in life, you must learn this skill to postpone immediate gratification, like going out with your friends, and persist in a goal-directed behavior, like studying or for sports or practice, for the sake of the later outcome, the reward that you receive for better grades, scholarship, and a better job that will lead you to a better life with lower stress. Look at this image here that shows you that you can learn anything. With the right study habits, with a positive growth mindset, magic happens. This image shows the steps that are involved in learning. You must have strategies in place to keep you focused on your work or practice versus succumbing to distractions. Can patience and self-control be learned? Research says yes, but you must also practice mindfulness and reflect on your goals. So how can delaying gratification impact your academics? If you're able to learn how to stay home and study instead of going out with your friends, you'll be miles ahead of the rest. How about your athletics? Are you able to put in the time needed to practice your sport to be a better player who could be eligible for scholarships in the future? How will these things impact your future? Example, for me, when I wrote my first book in my late 20s, I stayed home on many Friday nights to conduct the research and write the book. But the payout was huge, as having a book helped me to separate me from the rest, allowing me to book speaking engagements and make money from my ideas. Tip number 4 is social awareness. There is a way to train your brain to increase social awareness and create substantial neural changes in your brain. This practice will cause you to change your behavior and in turn will cause others to trust and respect you more. Here's an activity you can do to develop empathy. Take out a piece of paper and write down a list of 10 people you'd like to improve your relationships with by being more socially mindful of them. So each day spend 5 minutes with this mindfulness activity when you interact with them. So try to be thinking, not judging. Go through the 4 steps and see what happens. After each interaction, take a moment to reflect on what occurred. Did you feel more kindness and empathy towards that person? What's interesting is that you won't need to tell anyone you're doing this. The other person will notice that something is different, that you seem more relaxed and more peaceful. What's actually happening is that they're neurologically more attracted to you. It's called neural resonance. Think about this. How can this practice impact your academic life? How about sports or personal life? For example, for me, I learned that what I'm thinking on the inside shows on the outside. So when I'm judging someone, they can actually feel something's not right with me. This doesn't help me to form strong relationships. Being mindful and empathetic to everyone I meet will help me in all areas of my life. You never know when someone can help you. So forming this practice as a habit can help you in all areas of your life. Our final success tip is to think first. Understand how the teenage brain works and thinks first. What will be the outcome of the action that you're going to take? So let's look at some important brain facts. As a teenager, it's important to understand that your brain is involved in everything that you do. Your brain is complex. Your brain is not fully developed until age 25 for females and 28 for males. Your brain is fragile, soft like butter or tofu. When your brain works right, you work right. And you can change your brain. It's called neuroplasticity, and change your life. So you're able to change the results that you have if you don't like them. Remember that in order to keep the skills that you have, you've got to practice the skills. Because when you're a teenager, something happens within your brain that the skills and the neurons that you have that you don't use, you lose it. So use them or lose them. So think about this. Whenever you read a book or have a conversation, the experience causes physical changes in your brain. It's a little frightening to think as you walk away from an encounter that your brain has been altered, sometimes forever. That's a saying from G. George Johnson. And it actually made me think, because for me, I love my brain and I will never do anything to damage it. But who knows what's going to happen to my brain if I choose to hang out with the wrong crowd. So I've got to be mindful of who I'm hanging out with, and also to make sure that I look after my brain. I don't put anything in my body that would harm it. And I'm always telling my children to protect their brain, to wear a helmet that covers the most important part of their brain, their prefrontal cortex, so that when your brain works right, you work right. You don't want to do something that hurts your brain and impacts your future. I wish they taught this to me when I was in school. I hope you can learn how to implement some of these strategies in your daily life to make an impact on your grades, your personal life, and your athletics. Remember, think back to self-awareness. Know who you are and your highest values. Think back to Jonathan and be like Jonathan, not Stephen in Stranger Things, and be clear on who you are. Think about growth mindset. Never give up. You can accomplish anything you want with persistence. Think about self-regulation. What can you give up in your life, like TV or going out with your friends, to delay gratification and receive the benefits of something even greater that can have an impact on your life forever? Social awareness. How can you be more accepting and socially aware of others? And finally, think first. How can you use the understanding of how your brain works to think first, protect your brain, and build a better and stronger future? This is Andrea Samadi, the author of Level Up, and I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. I'd love to hear the results that you get from implementing these ideas. Bye-bye.